Hi, I'm Jenny. Welcome to your monthly messages from the Akashic Records, angel or channeled messages. This month is a little late, and I will explain to you why after I go through the reading. If you have never watched one of these videos, I'm going to explain briefly what I do. I open the Akashic Records for the collective that watch these videos, and I'm clairaudient, so with a little touch of clairvoyant, but that means that I hear. So I just record everything that comes through on a voice recorder, and then I transcribe it, and then I read it to you. So for this part, if you have earbuds, I suggest putting them in and just listening so that you can kind of get your own interpretation of the messages for the month of May 2022. But anytime you watch this, these messages will be relevant to you. So this is just when they're relevant to me at this time and bringing them out. But there's something we can go back to again and again. So if it's not May 2022, no worries. May marks a transition time. It's a transition of water and earth, fire and air, light and dark. Everything feels kind of tumultuous. There is an upheaval. It is like when you till the ground, things are brought to the surface. You till the ground to bring things to the surface, and you put what is on the surface below. It is a constant cycle, a spiral. Right now, lots of things are rising to the surface, lots of truths and feelings, emotions, histories, tragedies. There's lots of revelations, sudden ahas, lots of going back to months or years previous, having realizations about past situations or past stories. There are thoughts about people of the past and situations in a new light, in a reframing. There's an ability to bring these things, these stories, these thoughts to the surface, to shed light on them, to make them new. It is like a tilling of the heart and mind. So even though right now feels tumultuous or dire, maybe even sad or tragic, there might be anger or sorrow coming up, frustration, anxiety, depression. Things may feel out of control, things may feel upside down or swirling around. People may be experiencing dizziness or imbalances in other ways in their body. It is a great shaking up of things. This is what is happening right now, and it's all for the better. You will till the soil for the better of the land and the plants so that new growth can come. So don't be afraid to till your own soil. Don't be afraid to look into the past with your fresh new eyes. You have done so much evolving. You have changed. You have come so far. You have walked so far on this path, really leaving a legacy of light, which we go back to previous readings. And sorry about the coughing. That's part of why this message is late. That's really leaving a legacy of light. That when you look back towards the past, things look different. Puzzle pieces fit. You are able to forgive. You are able to move on. Not saying to stay in the past, but to allow whatever is coming to the surface to come. To recognize it, to look at it with your new eyes, your third eye, the cosmic eye, wide open. Seeing it in light, seeing it in today's world. Seeing it in your life now, where you are on your progress. Seeing it with the light around it, recognizing truths and letting things go, allowing forgiveness and love and peace into your heart, allowing you to make peace with your past and who you were in your past, releasing all guilt and shame. This is the progress of a soul, a journey, a pilgrimage. Everyone is on this pilgrimage. Everyone is connected through the web of light. Everyone dances the spiral. So I just wanted to take a moment first to say why the message is late. I had the virus in January, and this is not that virus, but ever since I had that other one, I've had a series of different health-related issues. Currently seeing an acupuncture for something called frozen shoulder. This arm just doesn't want to extend, and I believe it's all related to this virus. So I got sick and I was so cloudy in these chakras, which is where I receive and where anybody who channels receives information from, that I knew that I couldn't even try to open the records and try to connect which is really weird because I channel every day. I don't open the Akashic Records every day. That's something I do every week. And then I do channel messages every day, and I do card readings, card readings every day. And so to have this kind of disconnect for a while was different. But I learned, and the reason why I'm sharing this is I learned during that time, one of the channeled messages I received once I was getting over being sick was that when we are on these paths, and you're watching this, you're on this path, you're consciously choosing to spiritually evolve, you're on this spiritual path, you're working towards some kind of enlightenment, some kind of change for yourself. When we do these things, people call it ascension, you know, whatever you want to call it. When we do this kind of spiritual work and we're praying for changes and upgrades and manifesting and consciously like working on chakras or whatever kind of spiritual work you're doing, that's all the energetic body, right? That's the chakra, the aura, the energy body. That is not the physical body. And the physical body has to have time to catch up. So a lot of times when we're on these paths and you suddenly get sick, it's not sudden and it's not for nothing. It's because your body is processing all of the spiritual upgrades that you've gone through. So for me, it started off, I was sick and I had a lot of chest and like soreness, and then sore throat, congestion and headache here and here, heart, throat, third eye, crown. And so I've been told right now at this moment, I cleared the heart and the third eye, or the heart and the throat, and the third eye and the crown are still a little clogged. It was like they gave me the image of a cork on a champagne bottle going like that. And they said that this headache and this residual kind of, I mean, I really can feel like here and here, like pains. It's going to go away. And then these chakras will be even more open, even more receptive, spinning even better. And so I just want to share this because, you know, we see a lot of spiritual people who tend to get sick a lot. You know, I know Kyle Gray got COVID twice and Tyler Henry just got it. You know, these are people that we look at as like, okay, these people are very connected to angels and to the other side. This work that we do has a physical balance that needs to happen. And so when you get sick, take it as a sign to take care of yourself, to rest, to receive, to take a break, and just know, for the most part, depending on what it is, I'm not going to speak for all illnesses and say that everything's for our benefit, because I know that some people are going through some really heavy stuff, but a lot of what we go through has a spiritual meaning. You know, having a frozen shoulder, I definitely, one hand's tied behind my back. This is my right side, my masculine, my doing side. There's definite reason why that's happening, right? It's not, the spiritual meaning isn't lost on me. So just something to think about. But back to the actual May message. It's very interesting. Usually I don't get these kind of messages where they're trying to like, where they talk about, my guides, that's they, where they talk about physical symptoms, but they talk about and hear people feeling like dizzy or imbalanced. And I definitely have been feeling the dizziness. I've had like the moments of my equilibrium being off. I've had seeing stars, like getting up suddenly and feeling that, headaches. So if you're there with me, you know, that's part of this tumultuous time. It's interesting too, because I'm not an astrologer. But I know that there are a lot of astrological things and eclipses and stuff going on in the month of May. So I think that definitely lines up with this kind of idea of this tilling of the heart and soul, which I think is so beautiful. So if you have had a lot of past memories or past thoughts kind of coming up, or past situations, maybe even people from the past, know that that's something that a lot of us are going through. And that's, according to this, you know, this reading, that's something that we need to go through, because it's true, when we evolve and we are on this path and we are like really working towards being more enlightened and kind and spiritual, we're on this path. When you look back towards yourself in the past, you may cringe, you may feel embarrassed or shame or guilt for things you've done. It's important to know that that was you then, and that's not you now, and you need to like add light and forgiveness to that. You can give, if you do Reiki, you can send Reiki to those past situations to heal them, but if not, you just send love and light, and just know that, you know, we're constantly evolving. And the whole idea, going back to this legacy of light, right, is to leave this legacy of light. But right now you may have a lot of stuff coming up and you may feel disconnected. You may not feel very spiritual. You may feel kind of down. You may feel like, why am I on this path? Or like nothing's working out. That's something you have to go through. And when we make this commitment to this spiritual journey, you know, people think it's like all like rainbows and we're all like that famous like kind of image of Jesus with like all the baby animals and children around us and like rainbows in the sky. It's like that sometimes, but it's we go through a lot of heavy stuff, right? Because this is layers and layers of ego. This is trauma. This is inner child healing. This is past life healing. Like there's a lot going on. And so when you have these moments, you know, it seems like the month of May is kind of one of these heavy times where just you're like, God, why is all this shadow rising? It's important to not give up. It's important to maybe relook at some of your older spiritual practices. Oh my gosh, my cat. Bobby, don't do that. Sorry. You know, you kind of can look at, you know, these kind of past situations with fresh eyes, like it says in here to look at them the way you are now. So maybe you're very embarrassed or something that really haunts you, a situation. Well, look back with who you are now, as who you are now. Is there forgiveness that can happen? And if not, that's okay. You're just like, you're not ready for that part, or that's not yet, but we are being invited to look back, which is interesting because a few months ago we were invited just to stay in the present because that's where joy is found. But I guess there's no stopping this reflection. You know, we all reflect, and this must be a collective time that we're all really feeling this deep reflection of, you know, choices we've made that have led us here. And it's really important to not go down the road of like, well, if I did this, then this wouldn't have happened. That doesn't serve you. So what serves you instead is, I'm a new person now. I'm more enlightened. I'm more evolved. I've learned, what did I learn from this situation? Who's left to forgive in this situation? How can I not have the situation repeat? You know, if you keep having the same kind of toxic personalities come into your life, you need to ask yourself why. Like really think about that. You know, I had the same kind of woman come into my life over and over in different relationships, very like narcissistic, selfish, self-involved, gossipy type woman as friends kept coming through. And it was like, I had to finally be like, okay, like I can't be the victim. Like I'm obviously attracting these people and there's some kind of karma I need to work out. And once I really started looking at those things and forgiving those things, then like those people didn't come into my life anymore. So everything presents a lesson, and it's sometimes much more difficult to learn. It's almost near impossible, I would say, to learn the lesson in the moment. But as we evolve, we can look at the lesson now. So I think that's what we're being invited to do. Tilling the soil, letting things from the past that are surfacing come up, and re-examining them where we are now. Like with your new spiritual self and more of your legacy of light, looking at things in the light, bringing things up from below and looking at them in the light. That's exactly what tilling is, right? Taking deep soil, bringing it up to the sun. So that's what we're being invited to do, and it's not easy, right? It's not like this is what you wanted to do this month. I know that wasn't my personal plan. And for me personally, I've definitely been physically sick. I've had the dizziness. I've had the imbalance. I've had a lot of weird things from the past, specifically fall of 2021 coming up for me. And, you know, kind of like, why is this coming up? At first it was like through dreams. I've had a lot of nightmares. I've had a lot of very vivid nightmares about how situations could have gone worse and thankfully didn't. But yeah, so I just want to say we're in it together. If you're not already connected with me on Instagram, please do that. You know, like you can message me. I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear. Yeah, me too. I like that's very validating for me. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here today and talk about that. And then I want to also give a reading for the month of May. So stick around for that. Okay, I chose kind of one of my go-to decks, which is Angels and Ancestors, just to kind of give us a little view some things. So hermit, retreat and recharge. Okay, I'm feeling this. I don't know about you. I'm definitely feeling that this time right now is a really good time, even though it's like counter to the weather and the time frame for those of us that live here on the western part, like, kind of, in the United States right now, it's like spring and some of us are already feeling summer. But I'm feeling this winter vibe of like, I need to retreat. So please make time for yourself, make space, and it's okay if you're not feeling it. Like, just respect that you do need this recharge and retreat kind of time. Traveler, move in a new direction, definitely feeling this as well. Like, when we're bringing up all these old things, tilling the soil of our heart and our mind, it's going to cause you probably to look into a new direction. Like, what, where you thought 2022 was going to go may not be there. I really feel a strong connection with this month of May. Is going to really, things that are happening in this month of May, I was talking to my spiritual ride or die buddy, they're really going to link up with October of this year. I just feel it. So I feel like things you put into place right now are going to really pay off, or there's going to be some connection to October of this year. So think about it. It's not too late to change what you want to do. If you've manifested for things that no longer align, just say that. Just say a prayer and say, like, I'd like to release these manifestations. They are no longer for me. I'd like to move in a new direction. Like, just let them go. Shapeshifter, transform and unveil your gifts. I definitely feel, like I said, I know that new gifts are coming for me. I can tell you, like, I'm feeling that there's some kind of reopening, of a wider opening of my chakras. I've been given the name Cosmic Eye for the third eye. That's something my guides have given me. They're telling me that's opening. Like, I have they said I have a thin veil that is going to be released soon. So I'm sure you're feeling the same things. Like, we're going through this for a reason. Like, all of this tilling and stuff is going to bring up new gifts. So have faith in that. Air Guardian, shift your perception. Yeah, again, what have you been looking at? Like, how can you reframe or relook at these things in the past? Things that are haunting you, things that you seem to can't get over, how can you look at them differently? And Autumn, oh my gosh. Confirmation, right? Whatever is going on right now, we're going to have some kind of connection to October. This is it right here. This is our confirmation. So, and also it goes, the actual message on the card goes with this one, right? Releasing the old and resting. It feels like I don't live in Australia, but it feels like it's autumn right now, not spring. The feeling of the wanting to hermit and the wanting to kind of go in within myself. That's what I'm feeling. So I'm thinking you're feeling the same thing. And one more for the month of May. Shed old skin. Yes. I'm feeling like we need to hermit because we have our yucky old skin on. And then we let some things go. We shift our perception. We decide on a new direction. We will then shed that skin and come out revealing our new gifts. If this was connecting to you, if you feel good about it, please let me know. I really love to hear your comments, your feedback. Please follow, please share with a friend.